Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing the How I Read tag. This is a really old tag and I was tagged like last year and I never did it. So I'm going to do it now. There are links in the description as usual to the person who tagged me as well as the original tag. 1. How do you find out about new books to read? Right now the majority of the books that I find out about are through booktube, but I do follow a lot of book blogs as well as like various Tumblrs, and I also follow a lot of like publishing houses and people who work in the publishing industry, so they're often talking about like the new release side. I also follow authors, so when their new books come out I know about them. I also read like the New York Times and the LA Book Review, and sometimes I read the Chicago Tribune's Printers Row edition, although you have to pay a subscription for that, so I don't read that quite as often. And also sometimes just from, wandering bookstores and things like that. So I'm always aware of books and I'm constantly seeking them out from every possible place I can. How did you get into reading? I'm not really sure how to answer this question. I feel like I've just been reading all my life. I learned to read as a kid like, most kids do, and I feel like I just always enjoyed doing it. When I was younger, I would just always be reading and I enjoyed going to the library and things like that, so I don't really have a really great answer other than I started and then I never stopped. How has your taste in books changed since you've gotten older? I feel like I read more widely than I did when I was younger. When I was younger, it was mostly just, wander around and see what I find in the sections that I like, and then I'll read those books. Or it was just, reading what was popular or well known or, selling well. But now that I've gotten older, I read significantly more than I have in the past because I am reading more in volume. I want to read more diversely as well because I'm finding that I get bored with genres if I spend too much time in them. I also am trying to read more diversely, obviously in terms of gender and race as well. Those are things I never really paid attention to when I was younger. How often do you buy books? This is really hard to say because I kind of buy books sporadically and I go through phases where I don't really buy any books and then other phases where I buy too many books. But I would say that like once a month, once every other week is really what I'm averaging right now. A lot of times I go when I just get coupons in the mail, so that usually comes about once a month, once every other week, depending on what Barnes & Noble feels like doing. How did you get into booktubing? I actually have a video about this that I will link in the description, and I'll put a link on the screen as well, so you guys can kind of watch that if you want to hear my extended version of how I got into booktubing. But the short answer is basically I would watch YouTube videos, and I never really wanted to do YouTube because I always just watch vloggers. And one day I came across Sana from Brooks and Quills' videos, and then that led me to other booktubers, and so I decided I wanted to join in, and so I did. How do you react when you don't like the end of a book? It depends on how much I do or don't like a book. I have physically thrown a book before because I was so upset at the ending, but most of the time I kind of just groan, or I might verbally be like, really? And then I'll just go and write something disparaging about it on Goodreads, or just, make a video and vent about how much I didn't like a book. How often have you taken a sneaky look at the back page of a book to see if it's a happy ending? Never. 2 reasons for this. One is because I hate being spoiled on endings and things like that. I like to enjoy the book as it's intended to be read, so without knowing any future knowledge about what will or will not happen. And the second is also because I don't really care if it's a happy ending. Happy endings don't necessarily mean good endings to me. Sometimes when there's a happy ending, I don't like it because it just feels forced. What I really want is just a good, well-written ending that seems to fit the characters and the plot and everything that had been leading up to that point. And I don't think happy and good are synonymous. How many people are you going to tag and who are they? I'm not going to tag anybody because this is a really old tag, and so I don't know who has and hasn't done this tag, but I am tagging everyone who has never been tagged and always wanted to do this tag. You are tagged. So yeah, that was a How I Read tag. Like I said, if you haven't done it already, feel free to consider yourself tagged. And also, I apologize for taking so long to do tags. I'm really bad at doing tag videos, and I'm trying to get better at them and to be really purposeful about being like once a month I'm at least gonna do one tag. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.